as I was showing you, I actually did work on several talks. The first one that was done by Monday was going to be about the fact that we don't have to be just winners or losers, that there is an area in between. We can acknowledge that someone has better gifts than we do in a certain area, had better luck, whatever it was, and they came out ahead of us. But that doesn't make us losers. And we don't need participation ribbons to show our worth. The fact that we tried our best and enjoyed something, learned something, made a contribution is good enough. It doesn't mean that we have an L on our head. And it seems to be this world is divided up too much that way. That was Monday's speech. Then Tuesday happened. I can't be that optimistic. Wednesday I started on one honoring our soldiers. And again, the cost. And I have the cost of war and people, and the fact that we do not honor soldiers necessarily by sending other soldiers and military people to die in the same spot that they have been injured or died for no reason. That we honor them better by taking care of their families, by taking care of ourselves, by making this a better place, which is the main reason that people join the military, in my belief, is that they want to make this a better place for everyone. And just sending more in to die does not do that. I actually, being me, went through and found out exactly how many people have died in wars. And this includes the civilian casualties. World War II was the greatest. It had between 40 million and 85 million, seems like a large deficit there between the two, killed. And they did that within a 6-year period. The Mongolian conflict between 1206 and 1324 came next. They had between 40 million and 70 million. But if you'll notice, that took 118 years to kill the same number that we got much more efficient in World War II. We did that within 6 years. And just so they're not left out, because they usually are, the Korean War, which was only 3 years long, killed 1,200,000 people. We're very efficient at killing. But I also couldn't say that. Had a whole speech on that. And I have not slept since about 6 o'clock Saturday morning. I am fueled on coffee. What I'm going to talk about instead is what I feel we need to do. What we don't need to do is to crawl into a shell and pretend that there's nothing we can do. We'll just lead our lives. We'll watch cat videos. We'll read useless books. Some of us, this would work pretty well for because we blend in. As long as we keep our mouths shut, nobody can tell that we're progressive. Nobody can tell we are elitist, which really drives me nuts because I'm somebody that was raised on the east side of Flint, that went to Lowell Junior High School, which had a reputation for being one of the roughest ones around, and it was a deserved reputation. Somehow elite and me don't go together. But I'm still called that. But these are things we shouldn't do. We need to be aware of what is going on. We need to be out there and letting people know that we do not consider ourselves losers, that we have a voice and that we need to use it, but we have to be smart about it. We can't just go pell-mell out into the community and start burning and looting. All that does is reinforce the idea that we're just anarchists. We have no brains. We just read. We don't have an idea what the real world is like. The stakes are too high for us to retreat. They are too high for us to ride on our emotions. They are too high for us to go back. We are not losers. We may not have won, but there's still things that we can do, and we have to look for these opportunities, and we have to bond together and work together and gather those around us that we know need our support and give it to them. We are stronger together. That was the slogan. But it is more than a slogan. It is a fact that we can do things together. And this week has really torn me apart, as it has many people. I have had to look at my values, things that I believed in, such as the long arc of history bends towards progress and liberty. It doesn't seem to right now. But I'm looking at it more like a blip. And I don't want this blip to grow into a tidal wave. So I'm asking that you join with me in working whenever we can to help those in need, to protest the injustice that we know is coming. And again, I'm somebody that could easily, if I keep my mouth shut, blend in. I'm obviously white. I am old enough that I am no longer a sexual object. It's true. I mean, according to some men, once you're over 35, there's no use for a woman. So I could blend in, but I'm not going to, and it's going to be hard for me. So I'm going to ask you for your help. Will you join with me? Will you help with me in this coming 4 years to stand up whenever we can? If something good comes out of this administration, then yes. Even out of the Bush administration came help for AIDS in Africa, and we have to acknowledge that. But we also have to acknowledge the problems that came with it. And with this one, the fear that was out there before that may have led this man to be elected, I now feel myself. I didn't feel it before. I now feel fear. I don't like it. And I'm going to do whatever I can to change it. Thank you for listening to me. We'll give our